YouTube, what is going on, man? It has been a while. I know when I post videos, you might not see me for like a month, maybe just a couple weeks, but I know I do not post a lot, and that's simply because life happens, life goes on. This is not my main priority. You guys got to know that. But if you do follow me on Instagram, you will see a lot of content on there. So Instagram, TikTok, XFACTOR_fitness. Y'all make sure y'all lock in over there. Tips, tricks with workouts, build muscle, dropping body fat, everything. In this video right here, what I want to do is give you guys the update, physique update. We have been bulking for a year now, almost a year. In about a couple more weeks, it will be a full year of nonstop bulking. We took the weight all the way up, and now we're inching it all the way down, but we aren't going shredded as contest prep, right? Not so soon. Prep will not start until like January or February. Right now, we're sitting right at the end of September. So you'll be seeing this video, obviously, the first week or maybe the second week of October. Hopefully that's on point. Let's manifest that. This right here is the update. So been bulking for a year. On the screen right now, you are looking at a screenshot of all the way from September 2024 and then all the way up to right now. Okay, so 2025 September. So this is a full year right here. We were in contest prep in September, and then in October I pulled the plug and said, look, we're not competing. And right then I was around, the 190s, 195, 194. I was sitting around there. So I put a picture on the screen right now. That's me in October of 2024. 190, maybe 194 pounds. And then as you notice, the numbers go all the way up. So numbers go all the way up. Here's a picture of me right here in March 2025. That right there, I was sitting around 220, 225. That was the March and April range. That was what the weight was. I jumped it all the way up to 230. I have some photos of 230. It's on the screen right now. 230 is crazy. All right, I'm 5'8". 230 is crazy. The body fat was 20%. That's nuts. You don't need to be that heavy when you are trying to build muscle. Really, when you are in the caloric surplus, you really only need to eat around, 100 to 200 more calories than your maintenance. And that will keep you at a low body fat percentage, and that will keep you building muscle. All right, so your surplus does not have to be crazy. My surplus was nuts, but that's just what I wanted to do. I was cheat meals here, cheat meals there. I was training hard as ever. Just to recap and go back, I actually started training with my training partners in around February in the March area. So when you see me at 220, this right here is when I actually had training partners pushing me, and the workouts are crazy. And to this day, we are still doing the same, training hard. I'm actually right now getting ready for a strength competition. So you can call it a powerlifting meet. On post, they do the 1,000 club. If you haven't heard of it, it's a 1,000 pound club where you do your bench, your deadlift, and your squat, and you see if you can surpass 1,000 pounds. I did it in August. It was about 1,300 pounds, 1,300-ish pounds, but we need those numbers increased. You don't even hit the board if you don't get 1,500 plus. All right, so that's going to come in the commentary when I show you this back workout. Right here, I just want to give you the physique update. So now you're looking at me on the screen posing. This is me fasted. I did 15 minutes of cardio on the elliptical, burning about 100 to 150 calories. And then I sit in my sauna, which is like a steam room, steam sauna. The humidity is crazy in there. It feels like 180 degrees. But that right there is the sauna. I did that for about 40 minutes, just chilling, relaxing. And so that's my morning routine. So you're looking at me right now. This is the physique at 212. Nothing like Keon and nothing like that. This is a 212. I'm fat. All right, I'm still fat. Okay, real chubby. At the end of this video, you're going to see my body fat percentage. So make sure you stick around for that. I am chubby still, no matter what. I am about 15% body fat. Hopefully, I'm praying for that. I hope I'm 15% finally. That is my ultimate goal, to drop the body fat. And I really want to be around 10 to 12% by December, by January, by the start of prep. That's where I want to be. If I can be lower, I'll be lower, but I'm still enjoying myself, still living my life, still having a good time, right? I don't want to be so strict on my eating, but the calories are low no matter what, and sometimes they're high, so it's a lot of fluctuation going on because I'm not dialed in. And then I'm also fasting. I'm doing intermittent fasting, so now I've been alternating. So some days I intermittent fast, some days I eat regular, and pretty much the intermittent fast is me fasting for 16 hours and only eating for 8 hours. And that right there is allowing me me to stay in that caloric deficit, but it's also allowing me to eat a little more freely. But that's the physique, guys. That's what it's looking like. So next clip, you're going to see a back workout with my team. I recorded some clips, didn't record the whole workout, but I did record some clips just to give you an idea of how we are transitioning our training. We were training antagonistically, where we were doing the opposing muscle group. So we were training chest and back in one day. We'll do a chest movement, superset that with a back movement. We'll do a quad movement, superset that with a hamstring movement. Now we have transitioned over to a power building style training. So this right here is where we are doing some powerlifting, and then we're also doing some bodybuilding at the end of the workouts. But that's going to be all explained in the next clip. So stick around. We got the back workout coming, and then we got the body fat update at the end of the video. For all my newbies out there who aren't subscribed, if you are viewing this for your very, very first time, I am Coach X. I am an online coach. I'm also a personal trainer here in my city, competitive bodybuilder, men's physique bodybuilder to be exact. I know a lot of you have a little issue with that, but competitive men's physique athlete. Been doing this for more than 15 years. I think we actually hit our 20-year mark for training and nutrition. I've been competing for only 11 years. So I started in 2014. So we're actually about to hit that 12-year mark. So that's just give you a little update of me. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Like this video early. Just go ahead and like it right now. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will share this with a friend so they can get an idea of how you should be training in order to build muscle. So let's get right into this back workout. So kicking off this workout, we do deadlifts. All right. So when we are doing this power building style, what we would like to do is focus on getting our power movement out the way first, which is normally your deadlift, your squat, or your bench press. Shoulder press on shoulder days. So we get that out the way, and then we transition over to more bodybuilding, focusing on isolation movements and things of the sort. So right here, warming up, 225. Now, the goal is not to exert so much energy with the warm-ups, right? So you're really just trying to feel the weight, and you're doing no more than 3 repetitions. Now, this is not my coaching. This is not my training. I know I got coach right down the hat, but this right here, powerlifting, is not my realm. My OG, which you're going to see him in the video, he actually is the power lifter of the group, and so he is making sure that we get strong every single workout. All right, and there he is right there. So that's what it is. And then moving on to 405, which is crazy, using that as a warm-up simply because my max is 495, which I did in August. So with the 495 max, we are trying to use slight percentages. And right here, we're doing sets of 3 when we do our working sets. So no working sets yet. This is still a warm-up, but it's really just to feel the weight. And I have a lot of form tweaks to make. As you see, my glutes actually lifted a little bit too much at the beginning of the movement. I'm not really sitting back enough in my deadlift, which little things like that are what's going to help you avoid injury, but also get stronger. So I'm working on a few things. So y'all bear with me. The form is not going to be the best, but hey, you only get better, right? Nothing gets easier. You just get better. So now we're going to start doing some working sets. Now this right here is 495. So back in August, that was my max. All right. And so now I'm going to attempt to do sets of 3. And I think we're going to do 3 sets of 3 or maybe 4 sets of 3. I can't even remember. But this right here is my first set of 3. So I got the straps on there because right now we're focused on getting stronger. But when we're actually in the powerlifting meet itself, we would not be using straps. I don't believe, at least. I gotta ask the OG. But right here, the straps actually messed me up a little bit. These ones were a little too long. But as you see, I can barely move it. And as you see, I actually removed the straps. But the OG, he got some shorter straps that you can see on his hand. He's actually tweaking my form. So everything I just told you about sitting back into your deadlift is what he was just telling me to do. Keep the glutes down, tighten up the back, sit back, and pull. Boy, twerking. All right. So that was a grinder. All right. That was a 1 rep max grinder. But if the form was better, maybe, I could have pushed out some more repetitions. But I'm going to change the straps here and then attempt some more. And then you'll see what it is. But yeah, man, right now we're focusing on strength. So not contest prep or anything of the sort. Right now we're just focused on strength and focusing on building muscle. So when you are getting stronger, statistically, you can say you are getting, how I want to say it. Statistically, you can say that you are building muscle if the strength is going up. So you'll notice when you're on your diets and then you start losing that strength, you're potentially losing that muscle. All right. So focus on staying strong whenever you are dieting. Focus on being strong whenever you are bulking. I mean, the goal is to build your numbers, get strong, but the goal is also not to get fat. So fat being in, more than 15%, you kind of want to stay away from that. So if you ever get your body down to 15%, try to stay there for the rest of your life. My advice. Oh, here go the OG right here. He's showing me how to do 495, and he's obviously moving the weight like it's nothing. But I'm not surprised. Dude's crazy strong. Now, I'm going to attempt it again, and you'll see. So keep your back locked in. Squeeze the lats. Tighten the back. Pull the slack out the bar. Sit back. Drive. And you're really using your quads at the beginning of that movement, right? So you're using your quads at the beginning of your deadlift when you're pulling from the ground, which is why you'll notice a lot of bodybuilders, they do rack pulls. So rack pulls is where you have the bar at your knee, and then you're just simply going from that top half from your knee and standing up, getting that back development. So when you're pulling from the ground, you start incorporating your lower body, glutes involved, and quads, obviously, hamstrings going to be involved. All right, so I dropped the weight. I got 4 plates and a quarter on each side. So y'all do the math. You got 405 plus 50, 455. I did the math for you guys. I didn't want you guys struggling over there. And doing my sets of 3. And it's still pretty heavy. But if you recall back in, I think like February, I threw up a reel. I'm actually going to put it on the screen right now. I threw up a reel where I was struggling with 455, I think it is. Using those smelling salts this time around. Sheesh. I'm watching this with y'all, so my bad. But yeah, 455 was my struggle back in February. So as you see right here, moving it a lot better. I was going to say a little better. I'm actually moving it a lot better. And that's just coming from the training that we've been doing, getting stronger. But that right there was the deadlift session, guys. So focus on the deadlift. Now, I do encourage you guys to go back to your compound movements. So your barbells, go back to those. If we're talking about building up that testosterone, if we're talking about building up that strength, building up that muscle mass, you want to focus on your heavy lifts that's like that. Now we got our lat pull down. So again, what I said was we do our power movement first, and then we move over to more bodybuilding isolation work. This right here for the lats, trying to stay in an upright position. I normally lean back a lot more than needed, but I'm perfecting that as well. So a lot of things that I've been doing with my training, I'm trying to just fix and get ready for this contest prep, because what I want to do is make sure that the muscles are developed properly. I want to make sure I'm just getting the most out of everything that I'm doing in the gym and outside of the gym. So I'm focused on form a lot more these days, which is very important. But you'll notice you haven't seen me with much injury. The most injury I have is a shoulder injury that actually just happened maybe like a year ago. But outside of that, you guys haven't really seen me injured if you actually follow the channel and things like that. So don't really get injured. And that's simply because I keep that risk mitigated. It's out of there. All right, it's out of there because the form is always on point. Now right here, I want you guys to just lock in on the back. The back muscles are working. I got this close lens right here. So I try to throw it outside of our working area. So this camera actually is like far back, almost across the gym. But so folks will get in the way here and there, but I don't really put the camera up and care if people are, walking through it and things like that. I'm not one of those guys. I try to get as much footage as I can, as best I can. But if I don't, I don't. You guys see me enough. Instagram, YouTube since 2015. You've seen me enough. You guys know what the physique really looks like. But that's why I do the physique updates, like the posing, just to give you a raw idea of this is what the physique looks like. All right. So lat pull downs, focusing on the lats, getting it right. And then we're moving on to some seated cable rolls, close grip using that V-bar. So you're going to have your rhomboids, your traps, your rear delts can actually get hit with this kind of movement. And we go heavy, right? So right here, we're doing sets of 10. On the lat pull down, we did sets of 12. Again, bodybuilding with that power building at the beginning. or that power lifting, if you will, at the beginning. So trying to keep form on point here, getting that nice deep stretch, and really focus on squeezing and pulling that bar right to the lower abdomen, trying to keep those shoulders down, trying to keep my elbows tucked. And that's how I'm getting the best out of this exercise right here. So deadlift, although deadlift is a lower body movement, essentially because we're pulling with those quads, driving up, we still incorporate it on the back day simply because it's that posterior chain, right? So still doing the deadlifts on the back day like normal bodybuilders like you see. But that's what it's looking like. And that's what it is, guys. So getting it in, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling really good. Like I said, 212 is the physique right now. 212 pounds. Eating anywhere from 2,500 on a good day, 2,500 calories on a good day. It can get down to probably all the way to 2,100 because, again, I don't really track. And I'm really just eating off the mental. I'm eating in moderation. And I'm really just focusing on making sure I stay strong in the gym, making sure that scale is still descending, right? I still want the scale to go down. I think I hit 210, if not 208, 207 about a couple weeks ago. And then I went on vacation. Came back, and obviously the weight was back up, so now we're just trying to move it down again. But 212 is pretty good. Again, after this clips, you're going to go see my body fat percentage using the in-body scan, so stick around for that. But other than that, I don't have much going on, guys. I'm trying to give you guys a little more content, but it's not that easy. I just be 100% honest with you. It's just not that easy. You know, life is going on. Life is happening. I'm a child of God first. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm an officer in the military. And then on my side time, I like to do the personal training. I like to do the online coaching simply because I like to help people reach a certain physique that they didn't even think they could reach. Or I just want to help relieve the stress from people. I got a client, he's actually competing in November, and just trying to help him relieve that stress, that mental stress of what should I eat? What should I do? All those things under the sun, which is the reason why you get a coach. Get a coach to hold you accountable. I'll throw on the screen right here some transformations that I've had on the coaching side. And a lot of people are coming to me now more for bodybuilding, for the men's physique side of things, simply because it's fun. You know, it can be fun at times. Once you get in the rhythm and you get in the groove and you understand that you have to eat a certain way, you understand you have to train a certain way, it can be fun. Stepping on the stage, showing off your physique. It's very judgmental and a very subjective sport, so be aware of that. But if you're just trying to change your physique, I do encourage you guys to tap in with me so I can help you guys drop the body fat, build the muscle, and just get rid of those dad bods. For a lot of you dads out there, I know I have a lot of the older crowd out there with the kids. You got life happening just like me. You got the desk jobs. Y'all lock in with me. I'll make sure you get straight. Biceps, got to train biceps when you train back. It's just what we do, right? Bodybuilders. Using the preacher curl. This is the Prime machine right here, which is pretty legit. So it has 3 prongs on there for the weight. And so when you put all your weight at the lower end, it actually makes the contraction a lot harder. I think I said that right. Yep. Makes that contraction a lot harder. Easy to pull, hard to contract when you put all the way at the bottom. So that's what we were doing there. And then we superset. We didn't actually superset this, but we just moved over and did some seated hammer curls with a slight incline. As you notice how I'm getting a full extension on the bicep and then really focusing on squeezing and contracting up. That right here, talking a lot of the bicep, but also more importantly, the forearms, getting a lot of work there. But that's pretty much the workout. Again, stick around. After this clip, you are going to see the body fat update. Let's pray that we are 15%. Let's pray for it, guys. 15, 6. I'll take 16 because, I've been, I think 18 or 17 previously. Let's see if we actually did some damage. The face is slimming up. The physique is looking a lot better than it was before when I was like 230, right? So things are getting better. Things are looking up. But again, follow me, subscribe. If you have not subscribed already, like this video right now. If anything I've said previously in these last clips has helped you, like the video because you like the content. And then I'm going to catch you guys in this next clip. So stick around. All right, y'all, the paperwork is in. This is what you guys have been waiting for. I told you to wait all the way to the end for the body fat update, the real measurements. All right, so I keep everything consistent. You'll see here, in-body scan. All of these forms are from the in-body scan. I use the same method of measuring my body fat all the way through. You keep everything consistent. If you keep your measurement method consistent, it's an easier way to track for accuracy. All right, so this is legit. So we go all the way back to February. All right, so February of this year, 2025, we were 23.3% body fat. If you can see that, I'm going to be just throwing them up really quick, but it is right here. So you can get it in right there. So 23.3, that was in February. And continuing to go on, we have May, we were 21.4. Then we go to June 26, we were 21.9. So it did go up slightly. And then all the way to August 15th, it was 20.5. And then all the way down to today, drum roll. I'm not going to insert a drum roll, but drum roll, do your own drum roll. 17.9% body fat. Now, what I do know is that when I do my bod pod testing and I do the in-body scan, it's normally a 2 to 3% difference. Bod pod being the most accurate, and then the in-body scan coming in and just being a little bit over the top with it. When I did the bod pod and I did the in-body in the same exact day, I was 20% on the bod pod and I was 23% on the in-body scan, and that was February. So February right here, 23.3, but I measured out to 19.5 on the bod pod, so I say 20. So that is a good difference right there. So with this saying today, 17.9, let me show you guys 17.9 right there, 17.9 today, 17.9. We can honestly say that my body fat percentage is most likely 14% on the bod pod, which I really wanted to do. We will go to the bod pod when everything settles in. 17.9, man, that's really good. Now differences, I'll show you guys some differences. So my muscle mass has went up 168.5 and it is now 172.2. Y'all, that is a huge difference if you know anything about muscle mass. That's building muscle. And for the scale weight, I was 211.7 back in August, and today I am 209.9. So the weight has dropped and the body fat has dropped and the muscle mass has increased. I have built muscle and dropped body fat at the same exact time. The numbers are here, guys. I can't make this up. Is this a fast process? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is not a fast process. If you are planning on building muscle and dropping body fat at the same exact time in the same exact routines that you do daily, when you want to do that at the same exact time, the process is not going to be fast. But we're not in here for the fast haul, right? We're not in here for a quick race. All right, this is a marathon. As cliche as it is, this is a marathon. You got to be in this for the long haul. What I am doing is simply priming my body, getting my body ready for a contest prep to step on stage. I'm simply dropping the body fat, continuing to build muscle while still eating in sometimes a caloric deficit and sometimes in a surplus. I'm alternating, right? This is still my bulking phase. This is still my off season, and things are going extremely well based on these numbers. My skeletal muscle mass has went up. Every time I go into the gym, I am training to build muscle. I'm not training for anything else but to build muscle. So you can say every time I step in the gym, I am training to build up that skeletal muscle mass, and it has went up to 101 flat. So it's 101 now. Here's the number right there. It is now 101. Back 2 months ago, it was 98.3. All right, so we have increased our muscle mass, which I've already stated before. The body fat mass has dropped to 37.7 from 43.2. Y'all, everything is looking extremely good from these numbers, so I'm extremely happy. The picture has been on the screen the whole time, plus you saw the physique earlier in the video. That right there is 17.9% body fat on an in-body scan, and I'll put a picture of the in-body scan so you can see what I'm talking about. But if I was to use the bod pod, which I need to use because it's more accurate, it would most likely read 14% body fat. So that picture that you see on the screen, 14% body fat on the bod pod, 17.9% on the in-body scan. Take it with a grain of salt, but the measurements are there. The goal is to continue to drop the body fat down. I want my body fat to be down at 10%. I want 10% body fat, and I want to coast. I want to chill. At this rate, we're at 209 right now. Yesterday I was 208. 2 days ago I was 208. At this rate, it is tracking that I should be around 195 to 200 pounds at 10% body fat, and that right there is going to allow me to continue to build muscle in the most effective and efficient way. So that's the goal. So if you like this video, I know for sure you'll like this video right here. So I need you to tap in in. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. I appreciate you guys for sure. I'm gonna catch you in the next one.